What is going on, y'all? Robert Sykes, KetoSavage.com, and I got another AMA coming at you. This one is all about when do you know you've reached maintenance, and how can you sustain maintenance intake for the long haul? So, before we dive into that, let's roll the intro. All right, we are back. This question is brought to us by John, and John asks, I dropped 245 pounds. First of all, huge congratulations, man. That's awesome. I am currently at 154 to 157 pounds, ketovore lifestyle. I'm currently up to about 1,600 calories per day and bumping 25 calories a week till I hit 1,900 calories. There's not a lot of information out there dealing specifically with realistic maintenance for the long haul, a way to maintain gains for a life. Some input would be great. All right. Well, again, congrats, man. That's a ton of weight loss. You totally transform your lifestyle just by doing that. Now, when it comes to maintenance, I don't really like the word maintenance, honestly. Like, you're either getting better or you're getting worse, because Father Time's not doing us any favors. As we age, it becomes harder to maintain muscle mass and bone density, lean tissue, et cetera, et cetera. So if all things are held constant as far as like our weight training, our diet, we're still getting worse because we're getting older. So we have to kind of fight that. So thinking of things in terms of what can you can sustain, for the long haul, from a diet standpoint, also from a training standpoint, is very key. When it comes to training, you ideally want to be able to implement some form of progressive overload and challenge your body in some form or fashion progressively over the long haul, so that you can, fight to preserve the lean tissue that you have, and ideally even build more lean tissue to kind of offset the catabolic nature of simply getting older, the hormonal effect that has, et cetera, et cetera. When it comes to maintenance intake, calorie specific, that's kind of where your question's geared. With you having lost as much weight as you have, 245 pounds or so, it's going to be, like, a lot of people are under the assumption that if you lose a bunch of weight, as soon as you start eating more, your body's going to suck it up like that, and you're just going to put it all back on. And a lot of people that lose a lot of weight are very hesitant to eat more because they're very fearful of that. I totally get that and totally respect it. Like, if I had lost a lot of weight, when I did lose a lot of weight, I was very scared to eat more because I thought I was just going to balloon back up, and I'd worked so hard to lose that weight in the first place. The key is to be incredibly gradual. So I like what you're doing by increasing by 25 calories a week. You're on the right track there. The main thing is to be very slow with it. You don't want to, basically your body, especially if you've been in a deficit for a long time, your body's like a sponge. Like when I do a competition prep and I drop my calories significantly and I'm in a very depleted state, my body is like a sponge. If I bring in food, it's just gonna soak it up. And at some point, it's gonna soak it up and start spilling over and becoming adipose tissue. And that's not what you want. You want to avoid that. Now, by going very slowly like you are, actually, before I talk about that, let's talk about your homeostatic set point. So we all have our own unique homeostatic set point. That's where our body wants to exist. That's where it's inclined to exist, by default. So honestly, a lot of times, if you spend a lot of time at a certain weight or composition, that's going to be kind of like your body's homeostatic set point. So like right now, using myself as an example, I've been eating 3,000 calories pretty consistently for a few months now. My weight is currently 180 pounds. I can scale that calorie intake up quite a bit. I can scale it down quite a bit. And my body would fight to maintain this weight of about 180 pounds at this current composition. By going through a massive weight loss journey, if you do so very quickly and then start increasing the calories very quickly, your body's going to want to go back up to that homeostatic set point that it was at previously. So slow and control is 100% the name of the game. This is why I'm a fan of doing a cut and dropping calories and leaning out very slow and controlled. This is why I'm a fan of going very slow and controlled with the reverse diet. If you're able to go very slow and controlled with the reverse diet, you're basically going to be able to take your body's homeostatic set point and then kind of mold it into a position that you more want to be. Like if you are scaling calories up gradually and you notice yourself starting to put on a little bit of unnecessary body fat, you can push the pause button on that intake and just kind of hold it steady for a little while. Let your body kind of stabilize at that and then start bumping it up a little bit more. Ideally, As you're increasing those calories week after week after week, you're bringing in more energy, you're bringing in more protein, you're bringing in more fat. That's going to allow you to have the ability to train harder and put on more tissue. Ideally, that's going to be lean tissue. The way you can convince your body or encourage your body to take that increase in fuel, increase in protein and fat and energy, and partition it towards more lean muscle tissue growth instead of adipose tissue, is to demand more of your body. So to increase your training volume, load, intensity as you're bringing in more calories. Now, obviously, you can't just continue that progressive, nature in a linear fashion and expect to be able to increase your calories indefinitely and increase your training volume indefinitely, because there is a cap to that. But it's much higher than a lot of people realize. So, for you, based off of your stats, I would certainly like to see you maintaining a healthy weight and composition over 2,000 calories for sure. I mean, most of my female clients, even the older female clients, they're all able to consume more than 2,000 calories pretty much. I've got a few outliers, but for the vast majority are able to consume more than 2,000 calories and maintain a healthy composition and body weight. You being a guy, you should certainly be able to do that, and it likely be somewhere north of 2,300 calories, maybe 2,500 calories. Probably not necessarily 3,000 plus calories, but certainly over 2,000 calories. So I would keep on the trajectory that you are currently with that increase in 25 calories per week. Then monitor your scale weight, monitor your body composition, take pictures, take measurements. If you have access to an in-body machine or a DEXA, take full advantage of that. Realize that those are going to be a little bit skewed based off of hydration levels, especially the in-body, and things of that nature. But if you're kind of tracking those changes over time and seeing that your composition is holding pretty steady, you're able to look in the mirror and still be happy with how you're looking, confident in how you're looking, then keep scaling those calories up. If you notice your body start to kind of tip on the other direction and put a little bit of unnecessary body fat on, get a little bit more loose, then just push the pause button. Don't do a calorie drop necessarily. Just simply stop increasing calories for a week or two, or maybe even a month, and then continue to train hard, implement some progressive overload, give your body reason to build more muscle tissue. And then as that happens, your metabolism is also going to upregulate. The more lean tissue you have, the more muscle mass you have, the higher metabolic demand that tissue is. Like, muscle tissue is incredibly metabolically demanding. So the more of that you have, the higher calories you can eat and still maintain a good composition. So as you build more muscle tissue, you're going to be able to afford to eat more and still maintain a healthy composition that you can be proud of. So hopefully that answers your question there. Keep the slow and gradual increase going and keep the training intensity and volume up, and you should be able to mitigate the adverse effects that come with increasing calories too quickly before your body's able to reset its homeostatic set point at a more desirable level. So thank you very much, John, for the question. You requested some peanut butter bricks. I'm going to be sending some of those to you this week. For any of you that do not know how these AMA videos work, if you submit a question to me via the Google form in the description below and I use that question, I will send you some keto bricks with the flavor of your choosing. Thank you all so very much. Talk to you next time.